Next up in the Shootout, we have the Schlagwerk Agile. Now this one's also made in Germany, and again, great workmanship. Like super tight, all the joints are really clean, everything's sanded down real nicely. And unlike the Cajons over here, this one is actually glued down, or it appears to be glued down all the way around. And so you don't get that extra slap sound out of the corners, but what you do get is a super, super tight and punchy sound. This is probably the driest of all the drums here, and it's really nice to play. And if you were recording, you might actually want to play a drum like this in a studio because it's super, super controlled, and you'll get just exactly the sound you want to get and nothing else. So this one comes with the this head right here. This hardwood finish on the head is called a cappuccino finish, but it comes in other colors as well. And it's an amazing drum. It's got a little grippy surface on here so you don't slide around too much. And again, like I said, super dry sound, real punchy. Check this out. Right, no extra buzzes, no extra sounds. So, like I said, this one might be perfect for recording, and for live you might want something that's a little messier, a little more open, a little more sustain on it. But this is an amazing drum, absolutely. Now, if you're wondering about the sound, these are all in different locations, but when we're recording, I put them all back in the exact same spot. So as you listen to each of these cajons, take note that they're all placed on the exact same location and the mics haven't changed. We're not changing the levels. So each of these drums, we're trying to give you the most objective audio version of each of these drums as we go along. I'd like to show you the snare system on the Schlagwerk really quick because it's very clever and it's very technical, and it offers a whole lot of versatility. You can basically just reach in and unscrew a couple of these little thumb screws. You don't need a tool or anything. You can just reach in and unscrew them with your fingers, and then you slide it out. Very similar to the Cajons, but slightly more technical. So what you get for a little bit more, it's a little more complicated, and it takes a second to unscrew, but you get a lot of versatility with this one. So the screws on the inside allow you to press it against the head a little harder, and then there's this device here, which allows you to actually, these are guitar strings, and they're in a loop around this whole piece, and this adjustment right here allows you to tighten the tension of the actual individual guitar strings. And then in addition to that, you can slide these pieces back and forth to what I would presume is probably dries up the snare sound as you start to push these towards the middle. There's less room for these strings to vibrate against the head. So as you open them up towards the outside, there's more room for these things to actually resonate. You can even get like a little bit of a pitch out of them. And as you move them towards the inside, straight, dry snare sound. So a lot of engineering, a lot of thought went into this, and it's a very interesting design, and I think it gives you some great versatility. And then another thing about that is that gives you, just like the Cajons, it allows you to completely remove the snares and get just a pure Peruvian style, like pure open snare-free kind of sound out of this drum. And so again, very versatile in a studio situation, just like the Cajons. Now, there's plenty of removable snare, like switchable snares and multiple head cajons out there where you can change the snare sound, or maybe one head, one surface of the drum has a snare and one surface doesn't. But in a studio environment, you're probably actually going to hear a little bit, even if you're playing another side, some part of that drum is resonating. You're probably going to hear some of that bleed through from the other snare, whereas if you pull the snare out completely, it's 100% gone, and the instrument really transforms. So it's actually nice to be able to pull that out. Gives you a whole new sound. So that's the snare system on the Schlagwerk.